This list isn't about ruins. It's about a method. Conquer the living, break the language, claim the objects, and call it history. Across 10 chapters, we map that method, from city fall to courtroom fight, so you can spot it anywhere. You'll hear how a truth commission counted the bodies in one conflict, while elsewhere the culture bled through looted graves and unguarded vaults. The pattern is the reveal. Number 1, Fall of Tenochtitlan. This city on water falls, but the method lives on. Allies close in, canals choke, and a siege turns days into hunger. The fall comes by pact and pressure as much as by blade. Steel and disease take credit, but the quiet work happens after. Temples lose their names. Sacred precincts gain bells. Titles shift as land and labor flow into new hands under tribute. For 93 days, the roots that fed markets become traps. Famine spreads. Then churches rise over the precinct, and streets take fresh saints. Nahuatl petitions still enter court, yet judges read them through a foreign code. Pictorial records are cut, labeled, and made to fit. Chronicles and trial files set the script. The old order is folded into ledgers and parish books. Tenochtitlan becomes a template. Break the body, redecorate the shrine, repurpose the archive. And south, roads wait. Number 2, destruction of the Inca Empire. A state famous for roads unravels when those same lines rush the occupier forward. Couriers who once knit the spine of rule now guide the pace of loss, like stagehands flipping a set. A civil war opens the door, but capture and leverage slams the lock. Seize the sovereign, hold the storehouse, and every forced pledge echoes down the valleys. Labor drafts shift from royal duty to outside command. Armies eat from imperial granaries that once fed festivals, and ritual calendars stall when the keepers answer to new clocks. Record-keeping turns the blade. Quipu chords, read by trained minds, lose standing to alphabetic ledgers. When only paper counts, memory shrinks to what the new clerks accept. The empire falls twice, once in the field and again in the files where chords no longer speak. Where fire and salt define conquest, erasure becomes a plan. Number 3, annihilation of Carthage. A city is wiped so clean that people still argue about the salt. The claim endures because erasure here felt total, like a stage struck empty between acts. Defeat tears down ramparts, but memory needs different tools. Treaties bar ships from hostile seas. Courts outlaw old strengths. Stories cast the losers as a warning. When a new colony rises on the same ground, streets, forums, and rights reset what counts as civic life, and Punic ways shrink to rumor and moral. Digging the ground adds friction. Some layers hint at breaks, others at reuse, and scholars debate how sharp the cut truly was. Yet Roman-era texts frame the tale as penalty and lesson, sealing the script. Carthage turns from city to parable. Meaning gets fixed to close a future. When books burn instead of walls, the ledger of loss grows darker. Number 4, Sack of Baghdad, 1258. This image captures a river gone dark. Sources say ink and blood mixed as libraries and scholars fell. The siege shatters gates, but the deeper cut lands after. Schools dim. Scriptoria go silent. Observatories lose their keepers and clocks. Patronage breaks like a bridge kicked out. Courts that once funded study dissolve, and learned circles scatter. Manuscripts drift from shelves to markets, then to trunks without notes. When a book loses its path of hands, a culture loses the thread that lets it cite itself. Persian and Arab chroniclers describe ruin with force. Later tellings polish the scene. Surviving volumes today form a patchwork, strong in a few lines, thin in others, like a quilt with missing squares. So the sack blinds the mind's eye. Recovery limps, uneven and late. On Atlantic islands, a smaller people meet erasure by deed and seal. Number 5, Conquest of the Guanches, Stone towers and goats on Atlantic volcanoes meet contracts, disease, and slave markets. Raids fade into treaties. Forts shadow pasture and spring. What looks like skirmish becomes paperwork, and the island turns into a file. Capitulations license conquest like a chartered circus. A signature grants land, people, and future profits. Forced baptisms reset status overnight, moving bodies from enemy to subject to saleable labor. Clan names thin under new naming rules. Surnames tied to saints replace kin labels tied to ravines, caves, and herds. Records show numbers drop fast, then fold into plantations that feed sugar and later empires. Survivors work on estates instead of terraces, their ties logged in rents, not in vows. The method lands in ledgers, once a clan, then a labor unit, then a surname in a parish book. Number 6, Tasmanian Aboriginal genocide. A frontier calls itself empty by changing the rules of who counts. Maps mark land as idle. Notices warn that only certain bodies have rights. Violence clears ground, but policy keeps the door shut. The black line drives people into traps. Removals break kin lines. Bans on language and custom press silence into daily life. Government hunts run like a grim exhibition. Paid parties, checkpoints, tallies. Island relocations promise safety, then deliver death by disease and hunger. Collectors take bodies and artifacts for cabinets and halls, feeding a pseudoscience that writes living people into extinction, like labels pinned under glass. You can track it on paper. Court inquests record killings. Settler journals note captures and sales. Modern repatriation files trace bones and tools home, line by line. Declared gone, descendants remain. Survival outlives the label. In Mesoamerica, erasure arrives with study. Number 7, Spanish conquest of the Maya. This isn't one fall. It's a long unspooling. Campaigns, trials, and fires that keep burning into now. Armies pass through, friars hold hearings, and embers land on pages and altars. Battles fade, but the burn of texts stays. Codices feed flames. Sacred objects shift from shrines to cabinets, then to auction rooms and resort lobbies. The pieces come back as decor, not as custody. Track the pattern. Ajikijab face bans and surveillance. Ceremonies move underground. Later, civil war takes a harsh toll on villages, and today's networks move stelae and jade abroad, like artifacts on a conveyor. Reports count harm, while conventions claim protection. Another debate circles El Mirador, green talk masking a land grab, conservation fronting a private deal. Name the method, Mayacide. A slow kill of language, ritual, and custody, fought in courtrooms, at digs, and in community councils. The next case goes further. Number 8, Zunghar genocide. An empire on the steppe vanishes within a generation, not by drift, but by order. Decrees travel faster than horses, and the plan moves like a grid laid over grass. Defeat opens the gate, but policy walks through it. Directives call for killing leaders, scattering camps, and driving survivors out. Columns clear valleys. Deportations split clans. New settlers arrive with papers and seed, and the region is recast as spare land to civilize. Demographic reconstructions show sharp collapse. Imperial archives outline removals, pardons, and rewards. Some scholars argue intent aimed at rule, others at people, and the debate turns on scale and phrasing. What the records share is a method. Round up, reassign, repopulate. Here the plan is explicit. Remove the people, rename the land, and draw a new map with no memory of those erased. Far north, erasure tightens by school and registry. Number 9, Ainu suppression in Hokkaido. A frontier opens, and the people already there get filed under subjects, then folklore. Offices stamp papers, maps redraw edges. The archive thins the present into a past tense. Trade controls bite first. Bans on salmon runs and hunting push hunger. But the deeper wound comes in class and school. Children learn a new tongue, a new flag, and a rule that culture lives only offstage. Laws reclassify Ainu as former Aborigines, land marked as waste shifts title, and rivers that fed families become assets. Officials stagecraft as museum show, carvings, songs, and dress under glass, while daily practice is fined or banned. Recent reforms name Indigenous status and open space for revival. Language classes grow. River rights return in parts, tied to fish and ceremony. Number 10. Harrying of the North. Winter raids turn farms to ash, but the deeper change sits in rolls and rents. Smoke clears, and what returns first is the clerk, not the plow. Names shift columns, old dues die, new ones take root. Scorched earth breaks bodies. Surveys and castle building break the will to resist and the memory of older laws. Towers rise as statements. Roads bend toward strongholds. Villages pull back, then thin. Crops burn, stores spoil. Hunger follows the frost. Then comes accounting. Domesday-style entries that lock titles, fields, mills. The conqueror's script fixes who pays, who owes, who is erased from claim. Chroniclers write of ruin with heavy numbers, while the ground shows contraction. Fewer hearths, fewer plots, a hush in once busy lanes. The two lines meet in loss, if not in scale.